To most of the world, Americans live in a new land of bustle and ceaseless change. But few realize that side by side with the rush and confusion, in the lonely reaches of the West, live other Americans, unmindful of change, in the tranquility of their villages in the sky. Under the sweep of skies of northeastern Arizona spreads nature's wrinkled pastel quilt, the painted desert. Out from here stretch three great fingers of mesa. Perched high on the windswept tips of each are three tiny villages, the 9 pueblos of the Hopi Indians. For over 1,000 years, the men of the Hopi tribe have been building their villages of native stone. It is hard to tell where rock and cliff leave off and sturdy houses begin, for they were built to melt right into the mesa tops for protection against their enemies, the Navajos and other tribes in the plains below. There were and are few paths up the face of the sheer cliff whereby an enemy might enter. Today, these paths, in places widened for modern autos, still lead to villages in the sky. But there are few car owners, and as of old, the lowly burros carry their varied loads. Folks and wood and food and even water must be carried to the top. Up and down the steep cliff trail they plod. And in the high-perched mesa streets, the gentle hobbled burros patiently await their heavy loads. Every day the leisurely trip is made to the spring. The dainty hooves clip-clop down the steep trail, picking their careful way amongst the rocks. At the spring, found in a cleft of the cliff below the village, the steel water cans are filled. Slowly by hand from the seeping water hole, the heavy buckets are lifted to be emptied into the cans on burro back. And the trickle of water is a tempting sound to the thirsty little beast of burden, patiently awaiting her daily drink. At last, real pay. The sky people are bound by tradition. Every daily task is set by custom, with women assigned to separate duties from men. And these tasks of the women are set by the mesa on which they live. Tradition decrees that the women on 2 mesas may weave baskets, each a different type. On 3rd mesa are woven the colorful wicker baskets. The framework is of branches from the wild currant bush, and the weft from the stems of the rabbit brush. Colors are dyed from native vegetable dyes: sunflower seeds, saffron flowers, purple maize. Each add their soft hues to the dye pot. The flat plaque is the most common type of basket and was formerly used in the household and religion by the tribe. Deeper baskets are modern and are woven for white trade. Some 10 miles away on 2nd Mesa, the baskets are of coil design, with small bundles of split yucca forming the walls. The basket weaver is patient in her tedious task. Materials are selected with care. The yucca leaves are shredded for wrapping the tiny cables. A hole is punched in the last coil that was added to the basket. Into this, the yucca strand is threaded. It is pulled through, tight and even. The materials are fine and the finished basket is smooth and sleek. By skillful use of dyed strands, figures from nature and religion decorate the flawless perfection. Always in closed designs, an opening is left for the escape of evil spirits. A few miles away, the women on First Mesa are limited to pottery making. Clay from the mesa foothills is moistened and kneaded by hand until soft and pliable. And so begins the age-old process of transforming a lump of clay into a useful vessel. Between each step of the creation, smoothing is done by means of a shell, probably traded for from some seashore tribe. A rope of clay, rolled by the hands, is coiled around for the walls and is pressed onto the utensil. And again the smoothing. The shaping is done by hand, a process handed down through the ages from mother to daughter. And simply, without the aid of mechanical equipment, the vessel takes shape. Once completed, the pot is set in the sun to dry for a day or so before polishing begins with a bit of smooth sandstone. After a clay wash over all, the pottery is polished dry by means of a smooth stone. In the process, it takes on a high glaze. On this is painted the decoration. Brushes are of yucca. The color is wild mustard, and the pottery is ready for firing. At the very edge of the mesa, a fire has been built, heaped by a mound of stones. Protected by pieces of old broken pottery, the new vessels are placed over the coals under the hot stone. In a few hours, they are removed. After cooling, they are ready for use. Modern pottery, yet patterned by the past, for its shape and designs were copied by the potters from ancient vessels dug from nearby prehistoric ruins of the tribe. Although the three mesas divide their daily labors, it is a traditional task of all Hopi women to prepare the feasts for the various ceremonials. The day before a pueblo dance, that village is busy as the women fire the outdoor rock and adobe ovens for the extra baking. After the walls are heated, the remaining fire is removed, and then the oven floor swept clean. From the nearby house are brought the pans of fluffy loaves and biscuits, for the bread of corn of former years has given way to bread of wheat. The pans are slid inside the heated oven. The door is closed by a slab of rock, sealed by a dampened cloth. In a half hour or so, the baking is done. The pans of golden brown bread are removed. They are tempting invitations to stay for the ceremony next day. For religion is the key to Hopi existence, shaping their lives. An intricate system of ancient rites is presented to the deities by secret pueblo societies. Every Hopi belongs to several of these secret clans and takes part each year in one or more of the community rituals. The dances are solemn and reverential, a prayer to the gods. Yet they also serve as social gatherings for the isolated mesas. Every ceremony follows a fixed ritual. Each dance has its own colorful costume. The tablet a common form of feminine headdress, appears in the butterfly dance. Fringes and bangs are often tied across the forehead. And the size of the clumsy swathings of the moccasins indicates the wealth of a Pueblo woman. The plaque dance is a woman's dance, sometimes including men. As with all Hopi rituals, it is symbolic, for the basket covers the span of life. It holds the seed to be planted, and gathers the ripened grain, and winnows the harvest. It bears the ground meal and brings the bread for food and ceremonies. Rites are always accompanied by a chant. Some so old the language is obsolete, and the meaning long forgotten. There are few gestures, and the dance steps are simple, and they remain unchanged as they are handed down from old to young. And so these high-perched mesa people hold to their ancient customs. Religion is the center of their life. Around religious ceremonies, they weave their daily life. A life of peace that changes but slowly in these ancient villages in the sky.